Is CBS 2 News at 4.
And we start with breaking news involving outgoing outages at Idaho's DMV.
There are several agencies and other people, including the governor and sheriffs from all over Idaho, the Department of Transportation, all responding to the problems surrounding new software.
And we have live team coverage on all sides of the issue. First, CBS 2's Alexis Gore is live. She's explaining the changes that will soon be coming to the department.
Late this afternoon, DMV Administrator Alberto Gonzalez says it's time for a solution after working patiently with this vendor on outages impacting Idaho and other states. ITD says about 40 hours of outages have happened this year. The solution will allow ITD to eliminate the dependency it has on the integrated solution with the vendor. This is to allow DMVs across the state to process transactions independently, and they are planning to integrate it by Thursday while continuing to work with the contracted vendor.
So like all 50 states in the nation, we depend very heavily on these third-party vendors to provide certain services that we're obligated to provide. So we work very closely with our partners, and we've been very patient with this particular vendor. But now that the outages have just persisted, we know that it's time to just figure out an Idaho solution, and I believe we have that in place.
ITD says it has reached out to the sheriff's office to discuss concerns and ideas in resolving the issues together and moving forward. And so what do you do if you have concerns about an expired license? Well, Gonzalez says that you need to contact ITD for either an extension, a letter, or some supporting documentation. Live in Boise, Alexis Gore, CBS 2 News.
Meanwhile, a conference just wrapped up with the Idaho sheriffs. They are expressing frustration with this ongoing issue. CBS 2's Scott Logan explains why the sheriffs say the solution is not enough.
Well, I'm here at the Ada County Sheriff's driver's license office, and you can see the sign says office closed due to a system outage. Now, how the sheriffs are involved in all of this is that Idaho law says that it requires the sheriffs in all of Idaho's 44 counties to operate a driver's license office for the Idaho Department of Transportation. But the sheriffs are displeased, to say the least, with the new computer system that ITD launched earlier this month. The Idaho Sheriff's Association says the result, as we've been hearing, ongoing glitches, system failures, delays leading to growing discontent among the public. And the sheriffs are also upset with what they say is ITD's lack of response to the problem and ITD's tendency to blame the sheriff's office. They've written a letter to the governor in which they have expressed their desire to have the driver's licenses concept removed as a function of the sheriff's office and have it placed squarely with ITD. Let's listen to some sound from this press conference.
What we're concerned about, probably more than any simple thing, we couldn't underscore enough that the citizens and the customers of driver's license throughout the state of Idaho are the ones who are really taking a beating on this thing.
And that's Sheriff Donahue speaking as president of the Idaho Sheriff's Association. And they say they don't really have a clue as to what the Idaho Department of Transportation is talking about in terms of this temporary solution. They say they only really heard about it when they watched heard about the press conference that happened earlier with the Department of Transportation. One of the problems that law enforcement is facing is that the officers can't run a driver's license when they pull somebody over. Now, the governor's office has weighed in, expressing its concern for this situation, but what the Sheriff's Association is talking about, which is removing the driver's license concept from the sheriff's responsibility, putting it squarely with ITD, well, that's going to be something that has to be addressed by the legislature when the legislature convenes next year. Live in Boise, Scott Logan, CBS 2 News.
Scott, thank you. Now, maybe this is in response to the sheriff's letter, but Idaho's governor is also weighing in on this. In a statement, he says, "My office will convene a working group comprised of all affected stakeholders, including ITD, the Idaho State Police, the Idaho Sheriff's Association, and the Idaho Association of Counties to resolve these issues as quickly as possible."
And we're working to find out more from both sides. You can read the governor's full statement on our website, idahonews.com. You can also watch both of the news conferences where ITD and the Sheriff's Association share their sides surrounding the frustration